Today's dish is a Craisin bread pudding adapted Jamaican style. Your ingredients list requires a hard dough bread, butter, 2 eggs, vanilla extract, cinnamon, nutmeg, craisins, almond milk, brown sugar, and honey, and of course your favorite toppings. We begin by buttering the entire loaf of bread as if we are making sandwiches. After buttering the loaf, you would potentially have 2 stacks of bread, and you cut those lengthwise and widthwise because we're making cubes. We don't need perfect cubes. It's not rocket science. We just want to get smaller pieces of bread. So you don't need to worry about perfecting this part. So you cut your bread in cubes, put them in an ovenware dish, which you do not have to grease because there's plenty of butter in your recipe. Once you have put all your bread in that ovenware dish, you would whisk your egg and pour it over the bread. In the meantime, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Next, you're going to add your almond milk and your spices. So your vanilla extract, your cinnamon, and your nutmeg, any other spices that you like. You can add that to this mixture, mix it well, and pour that over your egg and bread mixture. Make sure you add enough milk. If you need to put some more, go ahead and do so that your container is almost full and covering your bread. You can use your whisk to help you push that bread down so that it gets very wet. Then you can actually mix it or mash it with the whisk. Next, we are going to be adding the craisins, and you don't need any particular brand. We just like to use Ocean Spray, and you can substitute raisins or bananas, any type of fruit, or you could just leave that out altogether. 2 handful of craisins would be sufficient for us, or again, go by your taste. We don't measure, so we're using 2 handful in this recipe. Next, we'll add about a half a cup of sugar, and you can cut that with stevia if you don't want to have too much sugar, the healthier version, and pour some honey over it. Again, this is all sweet stuff, so you don't want to go overboard here. It's best to have this less sweet than too sweet, because less sweet, you can always add your toppings and bring that sweet taste in if you so desire. Next, you would use your whisk and ensure that everything is well blended, and you mix that all in. And by doing so, you will of course create a small mess around the edge of your ovenware dish. So just a damp paper towel will do the trick here. You wipe the excess mess from around the handles and the top of the dish to make it nice and clean, and from there you are ready for the next phase. You place your dish in the oven, and from here it's already going to start smelling very delicious, so be careful not to start eating before it's time because that smell is really delicious. And I like to use a timer when I cook, so 30 minutes is what I would set on this timer. It gives us enough time to come back and just check in on our dish. Of course,
for
you go
30
definitely,
minutes.
if you are an experienced baker, you'll know how long this is going to take. If you're not, then of course set your timer. In 30 minutes, come back. We'll do what's called the knife test. And what that means is you would just place a regular dinner knife in the middle of your pudding and pull the knife out. If it comes out nice and dry and clean, that means your pudding is ready. If your knife comes out with streaks or with too much wet on it, that means you can let that cook a little bit more. So another 15 minutes or so would do the trick, and then you are ready. Of course, you can watch this through the window in your oven, and you will see that it's getting nice and golden brown, crispy on the top. At that point, you are ready to remove this from the oven because you don't want to overcook it either. And you set that out on your counter so it will cool. And man, I tell you, that smell will get you every time. Next, you can go off, have your dinner, do whatever you need to do because this is actually set up for our dessert. And there's the finished product. Today we decided that our topping would be, drumroll please, vanilla ice cream. And this is Chadwick's first time making this meal. I guided him through the whole process, and we decided together that we wanted to do the vanilla ice cream. And there you have it. It's delicious. It looks beautiful and it tastes great. At the end, it was like a race trying to see who could get the most of this delicious piece of pudding and ice cream in our bellies. Of course, you know who the winner is. It was not me. I'm not naming names, but I did not win. And like we say, lickety split, it was over. And this is where the phrase was coined, ladies and gentlemen. The proof is in the pudding. As you can see, it did not take a whole lot to make quick work of that piece of bread pudding, Craisin bread pudding with vanilla ice cream topping. This was so delicious. Of course, Chadwick's ready to make this delicious dish again, but we'll hold off a little bit to let the craving build up, and that way we'll appreciate it so much more the very next time that we make it. And this was just a portion of the things that we do together. This is Mommy trying to ensure that her son knows how to handle himself in a kitchen, and he will not starve at the end of the day. He can help us with the cooking, and he has put together quite a few dishes, and he is a very good cook. So there you have it. All gone. Very good. So like and subscribe to our channel, please. That way you will be informed when the next video is released. Thank you. Brought to you by Chadwick and his mom from our kitchen to yours.